Guide work. I love guide work, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys about this today. And following this, we will practice a meditation and really learning how to access our guides and any beings who want to come and support us. I love this framework, and I think it's incredibly powerful. And it's one of the most powerful tools I've used in regards to finding clarity. And you can use this every day. It's a tool that helps you intentionally move through your day, intentionally move through a situation or a struggle that you're facing. It's a great tool to use also if you are feeling stuck and are feeling unsure of what your next move is. I also find it very comforting and I find it soothing, and when I connect with my guides, it creates a sense of support, especially if you are in a time where you are feeling very alone. Many of us have heard things like finding your spirit guide or accessing your guides, and people have different ways of going about that. So if there's something that you don't relate with, stick with me for a little bit. I'll give you a few different viewpoints and see if there's not anything here that you can relate to and that can resonate with you, because people relate to this in a lot of different ways. So there's a few perspectives on the beliefs, and I guess we'll just go through each approach and I'll just chat them out of the ways that I have seen people go about accessing their guides. So the approach I take is the more spiritual version, the more spiritual approach. And that's the idea that there are spirits, there are beings that can be called upon that are deeply compassionate and that want to help and are waiting for you to invite them into your space. They're waiting to help you with your discernment process, with your process of gaining clarity. Guides, guides can be people that you've crossed paths with in different lifetimes. They can be your ancestors. They can be an animal guide or just any being that has given their energy over to helping others. It is, their purpose in their dimension in their lifetime. The shamanic tradition would take the perspective that guides are beings in another plane of reality. But they just have, they're more evolved. They have more evolved wisdom. They have more love, more compassion. They have that wider view, that 360 view that we don't have. And again, they're waiting for us to ask them for help. They are all here to serve us and to be here for us. The ones who struggle with these more shamanic or energy, spiritual woo-woo type of ideas, there's also a secular psychological way to imagine this. And it's you just visualizing, it's you imagining that you're bringing in a particular imagery or form created in your mind, like a character or a shape. We may have a vision in our head about Jesus, a vision about God, a vision about the devil. This is kind of in that same realm. It can also be looked at that this is coming from a place of you, of your deeper self, of your intuition. It can also be a form that we could just relate to, that brings something that brings you comfort and puts you at ease. For example, you could envision Buddha. you know um he's all knowing, he's wise, or maybe it's a lion, something that is very powerful, that exudes that confidence. There's also this idea that everything is connected and all is one. And yes, you are talking to your spirit guides, but you're also talking to the true part of you, who you are and what your soul is. And no matter how deep you want to go or what direction you're leaning toward, the ultimate goal is to clean up the parts of our experience that are feeling noisy or messy, or the confusion that we have, or anything that makes us feel blocked. It's here to help us deepen the communication with something deeper and more true than our conditioned minds of what society has told us, of what our parents have told us, of just, the physical human brain in general. We are very, especially with our subconscious mind, if we have programs running, our vision becomes narrow and narrow. And as we can tap in to our soul self, tap into even just our bodies, and tap into a higher dimension, a higher being, we can see what we haven't seen before. So before I walk you through this meditation, keep an open mind and just see how it goes for you, and stay curious without judgment. Notice if you get frustrated, maybe something doesn't come through for you, doesn't come forward. Maybe you just don't like the guide that comes forward. Maybe you get a slug and you really wanted a fairy, and see if you can put trust in that. Put trust in the fact that what is coming through is for a reason and is for the highest good. And you might not know that reason. And actually, we rarely do know the reason. And we might find the reason out later down the road. We might, again, never find out, and that's okay. Also, feel into any love and connection or longing that bubbles up when you see your guides, when your guide steps forward. Are you able to fully allow yourself to unravel into that, to let that overcome you, to let that seep into your body? And can you trust your urges? Maybe you want to hug your guide. Maybe you want to give them a high five, or maybe you want them to hold you or you hold them. There is always wisdom flowing through us that we aren't able to perceive. And that's okay, because your soul does. Your soul does. It will feel expansive. It will feel good. And this is a meditation that, like I said, you should do often, especially if you're going through something that you need clarity on. You could do this every day and know that your guide might always be the same, and they might be different every time. And again, everything is right. Everything is correct. Pay attention. I will end on this. Pay attention to any symbols, any colors, any signs, any messages that they give you. And again, you don't have to overthink this. Like, our mind should be away, and it should really be tapping into our intuition and feeling of like, oh, like that symbol came through, like that feels right. And again, you might not know what it means, or you might know what it means. And ask your guides. If you have questions, you can ask your guides anything. They might not always give you the answer, but most of the time they will. Or they'll tell you to come back, in a year, or they'll tell you to come back, like, ask me again after you do this. All right, let's give this a shot, and let's connect with our guides and gain some clarity in our life, whatever it is that we are working on right now.